In today's news, MCMASTER claims his first World Championships medal. Don't give up, keep going. MCMASTER after silver medal. ADAEJAH places 7th in World Champs semifinals. Premier issues remarks on VI performance at World Champs and 69th Emancipation Festival extremely successful. Viewers, these and more stories when 284 News return.
Is that my lunch? Is that my lunch?
We're like the coworker that doesn't eat your lunch.
I'm John. I'm John.
CG Insurance. Good like that.
Is someone gonna get that?
Hello.
Hello. So nice of you to have cleaned up for us. Hi, baby.
We're like in-laws that don't show up unannounced.
Don't worry. I've got this.
CG Insurance. Good like that.
Welcome viewers to the Thursday, August 24th edition of 284 News. I am Kamal Haynes, bringing you the latest out of the British Virgin Islands. Leading today's news, MCMASTER collected his first ever World Championships medal on Wednesday after placing second in the final of the men's 400-meter hurdles at the 2023 World Athletics Championships in Budapest, Hungary. Running out of lane 8, MCMASTER was clocked as having the fastest split time of the first 100 meters with 11.11 seconds, and he used that momentum to end the race strongly to claim the silver medal in a time of 47.34 seconds. The race was won by Norway's Karsten Warholm, who was the event favorite ahead of the championships. Warholm claimed the gold in a blistering time of 46.89 seconds, while American Ray Benjamin took the bronze after clocking 47.56 seconds. With the World Athletics Championship silver medalist, MCMASTER said his recent track achievement in Budapest, Hungary is one that he has been chasing for more than half a decade. MCMASTER's comments came in a subsequent interview after his impressive second-place finish on Wednesday in the final of the men's 400-meter hurdles.
It feels amazing. This is my first world medal. I've been chasing this since 2017. So, it's a relief that after 7 years, I got my medal. Don't give up. Let's keep going.
MCMASTER said he has been using a new approach this year for all of his races, placing his concentration solely on his performance and not on his competitors.
Well, this year we did something different. I started focusing on the field, started focusing on what everybody did. I actually didn't know I came second until I passed the finish line. My objective was focus on executing my race and come through the line. After I came through the line, I looked up at the scoreboard, so I walked home, I was okay. And then I saw my name, I was like, holy shit, I got the silver. Atta boy.
That's fantastic. Did you change something in your race?
Nah.
The number of steps? Just the focus?
Yeah, everything was the same. The focus was there. Just kept focused, man. Just kept on executing my race. I didn't study the field, I studied my race.
The two-time Commonwealth Games champion also spoke about the recurrence of being selected to run out of lane 8, a custom that he said he has grown to embrace.
Crazy with the Lord been setting me up for this here, because all season I've been getting lane 8 my races, and I was like, why the hell I getting lane 8? So I'm pretty acquainted with it. I made love to it, and it made love to me back. So today we spawned a silver medal.
In more track news, ADAEJAH gave it her all in the semi-finals of the women's 200-meter event at the World Athletics Championships in Budapest, Hungary today, but missed out on the final after finishing 7th. Was sprinting out of lane 2 in heat number 2, the 17-year-old Hodge managed a time of 22.96 seconds. Her race was won by Julian Alfred of St. Lucia, who ran a time of 22.17 seconds, while Daryl Nita of Great Britain finished second to also qualify for the final with a personal best time of 22.21 seconds. Up next, Premier issues remarks on VI's performance at World Championships and 69th Emancipation Festival extremely successful. But these are more stories after a word from our sponsors.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, I can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this ain't like you, know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out that trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I hot. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Welcome back, viewers. Our Premier Doctor, the Honorable Natalia Wheatley, today sent congratulatory remarks to Kyron McMaster, the Virgin Islander who recently claimed a silver medal in the men's 400-meter hurdles event at the World Athletics Championships currently underway in Budapest, Hungary.
Let me take this opportunity to congratulate Mr. Kyron McMaster, which has made the nation proud by delivering to us our greating sporting accomplishment in the history of the Virgin Islands. Yesterday, as we all watched, Kyron McMaster in the 400-meter hurdles captured the silver medal, and that was something that was historic for us and something that made us all tremendously proud. And we're looking forward to Mr. Kyron McMaster returning to the Virgin Islands so we can celebrate him and reward him in the way that he truly deserves. And we're looking forward to building on his success. And I also want to take the opportunity to congratulate all the other athletes who are part of the team over there at the World Championships.
The Premier also delivered remarks on the performance of 17-year-old ADAEJAH, who took on the semi-finals of the women's 200-meter race today.
I mean, ADAEJAH is still in high school, and she's competing against some of the greatest athletes of all time. You know, that's who ADAEJAH is competing against. We are so incredibly proud of her development and growth. ADAEJAH has world records, you know, not national records, not regional records, well, she has all of those as well, right? She has world records. And as I said before, I've said it on a number of occasions, one day I believe ADAEJAH will be considered the fastest woman in the world. And as well as she's done, I don't think anybody could have anticipated she would have been making this level of progress so quickly. It speaks to her mom and her family support system. It speaks to her own drive, her own attributes, you know, the way that she goes about her business. It speaks to, her coaches. It speaks to, all the different entities that help to support her, including BVI Olympic Committee. It just is something that really brings the community together when our athletes go out on the world stage and they do so well. It's inspiring. It shows that nothing is impossible once you put your mind to it, that sports, more than anything else, is a meritocracy. And if you put in the work, you get the results.
Now moving on, viewers, the recently concluded 69th VI Emancipation Festival has been dubbed one of the best in recent history by Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley, who delivered an address on the event today.
I take this opportunity to congratulate the Virgin Islands Festival and Fairs Committee on a successful emancipation celebrations. One of the best managed festivals in my time, certainly that I can remember, extremely successful.
According to the Premier, the Virgin Islands Festival and Fairs Committee, under the leadership of appointed Chairman Dirk Walters and Deputy Chairman Birchfield Letsom, completely exceeded expectations for this year's event.
When I appointed the Chairman, Dirk Walters, and Deputy Chairman Birchfield Letsom, along with all the other members, I gave them three main objectives. One was a responsibly managed festival from the standpoint of finances, financially. Two was given a platform to our Virgin Islands artists to be able to display their talents. And three was to ensure that we celebrated our emancipation, our heritage, and our culture. And I would say they have exceeded expectations on all three objectives.
Premier Wheatley further lauded the committee, highlighting its exceptional and responsible spending this year.
We know that festival, the festival that we do here in the Virgin Islands with all its activities, cost us just about $1 million. And I'm very pleased, and they have been able to pull off a festival for over $1 million, for $1 million from government, and we have been able to pay the majority of our bills, and I think we're just tying up some loose ends right now. And in recent memory, I don't remember being able to go through a festival and saying that we're paying all of our bills, and that goes back years and years based on my research. I don't remember a time when we've been able to have a festival and we can say that we've accomplished our objectives and we have money which is left over. That is a tremendous accomplishment. Normally, in the past, we've had to do huge supplementary appropriations in the House of Assembly following festivals. So I'm extremely pleased at that result.
He also shone a light specifically on the committee's work to ensure that the culture of the Virgin Islands took center stage throughout the festivities.
As it pertains to celebrating our emancipation, our heritage, and our culture, I would say that this was one of the most and best supported festivals that I can remember. The village was packed to capacity, and most of the events were extremely successful. We had events that, of course, celebrated our culture of music, our culture of food, our culture of dance, along with other aspects of our culture. We were able to have events with a focus on emancipation, like our emancipation service on August Sunday. We were able to have our church services with a real focus on our emancipation. And we had, of course, cultural events on the East and on the west along with our food fair.
Up next, Premier Willie believes that the youth will thank the government for the runway expansion, and the BVI Christian Council speaks on festival. With these stories, when 284 News return.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes,
Good
son.
morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut fun people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man, forget you.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Why? This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, I can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this ain't like you,
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What's your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hooked, I tell you.
Welcome back, viewers, and thank you so much for sticking with us. Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley has once again highlighted the importance of expanding the runway at Terrence B. Lettsome International Airport, stating that the grandchildren and great-grandchildren of the territory will thank his government for completing the initiative. Premier Wheatley made a comment following a recently held meeting that involved government officials and industry partners from across the territory, which is aimed at sharing and discussing ideas regarding the potential expansion of the runway. Well, he said, and I quote, "When we look to the expansion of our economy, we have to look forward towards tourism, and certainly this government, and whenever I have the opportunity, I speak to the fact that we have to develop tourism and invest more in tourism." He continued, "It is ultimately going to be our efforts, the efforts of ourselves, which will lead to the expansion and strengthening of our tourism product and economy overall. So we cannot take a passive approach that if they want to come, they will come. We have to put ourselves in the best possible position for our economy to grow and to develop. One of the major things that our grandchildren and great-grandchildren will thank us for is expanding this runway," end quote. The exercise was organized by the Minister for Communication and Works, Honorable Kai Reimer, and was chaired by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Communication and Works, Mrs. Elvia Smith-Maduru, who presented a timeline on the previous attempts to commence the airport expansion project and the roadblocks faced during each attempt. Minister Reimer thanked all who attended the meeting and informed them that his ministry is well on the way in contacting the relevant authorities that will be crucial in the expansion of the airport. Well, he said, and I quote, "I know these conversations shouldn't be the first for some of you, but after being given the mandate of expanding the runway publicly, I thought it was important that we have this dialogue and engage the stakeholders on how to move forward with the airport expansion. Within the ministry, I want to acknowledge the Permanent Secretary as well as all the work that she has started doing in terms of this airport expansion. We have already engaged the Attorney General's chambers and other stakeholders in terms of moving this project forward. But it's time for us to get to the wider populace so that we can further these discussions, end quote. And moving on to our final story, viewers, where while the Emancipation 69th celebration is over, the debate and conversations behind the selection of artists and the underlying messages in musical lyrics is not. Or during the Emancipation celebrations, our Ron Grant spoke with Chairman of the Virgin Islands Heritage Committee and Public Relations Officer of the BVI Christian Council, Reverend Dr. Melvin A. Turnbull, on the issues surrounding the Christian community and how festival is celebrated.
The activity starts with the Freedom March. And again, that's very important, very symbolic of our freedom. So we decided to start, as we have been doing for many years, from opposite Government House. That's symbolic, from the Massa, okay? And then we all match all the way up to the Sunday morning well. Again, that's symbolic. That is one of the places, there's always debates about that, where the Emancipation Proclamation was read. So opposite the Government House, Massa, to the Sunday morning well proclamation is where we march. And we're going to have live music, of course. This year, we're going to be joined by a number of friends. I'm very excited about this year. It's been difficult, but this difficulty has forged a lot of alliances. And so I often tell people that when it looks like it's falling apart, it's really coming together. Okay. And so it's coming together so well. One of the special guests we're going to have are the Bay people. Okay. Cane Garden Bay. Now, everybody calls different bays, but there's only one bay. That's Cane Garden Bay. And they're having a reunion of which I'm a part. And we're having friends from all over coming home to visit and to share, and it's going to be an exciting time. So they have decided, since we're doing the march and they know about it, they've decided to come along and join us, and let's come together. So we're going to have a whole lot of Bay people in town. All right. And so we invite them, all the other folks, everybody, to come together. But we're going to also be joined by the Virgin Islands Cadet Corps, and they're going to be joining us this year. And we're hoping that, again, all the churches, I'm really appealing to the BVI Christian Council, all the churches, even if you're not a part of the council, all faith-based, all organizations, all individuals, everybody, nobody is left out. Let's come together and let's find out how strong we can be when we do come together.
All right. Bishop, I have to ask you, are you a member of the BVI Christian Council?
That's correct. I am. More than just a member, I'm part of the executive. I'm actually the PRO for the BVI Christian Council.
When asked about the involvement in the church on the Emancipation celebrations, Turnbull shared his take.
I don't know where they get that story from. It's amazing how people create their own narratives.
Okay,
and so often, we take other people's narrative as gospel. Okay. I may have missed a lot, but I don't think I missed that. I've always been saying to folks that it is the church that started the festival or the Emancipation celebrations. In fact, back before 1954, it was known as Fete and the Field. And it was the Anglican Church, as well as the Methodist Church, who alternated the leadership. And then I often say, every year, the church dropped the ball in 1954. And that's when other groups took up. And so that's why now, in 1997, Pastor Mel, his little self from the Bay, said, listen, I don't like the way things are going. So I got me a group of brothers and sisters who believe that we need to step in, not as judges, but as ones who can spread and show some light. So while we were celebrating our emancipation and our freedom on the church level in Cane Garden Bay, in the village, in the Bay, we said, no, that's not good enough. Let's take it to the national level. We made representation to many governments after government, and they made promises after promises. But it was only in 1997 that we actually got the leeway to do what we are now doing.
Additionally, on the very topical issue of lyrics of music and its influence on violence, which has been proclaimed by local Christian liberals over the Emancipation celebrations, host Ron Grant asked Turnbull, what exactly is the issue? He said many of the gospel music now sounds identical to secular music. So what is the church really saying and doing?
Music is music. Again, the narrative needs to be straightened out. The music that you hear a lot of these artists playing nowadays actually originated in the church.
Of course.
Most of these artists actually started in the church. If you're talking about lyrics, that's one thing. If you're talking about genre, that's another thing. So what are we fussing about? Is it the lyrics, or are we fussing about the beat? Because I know there was a time.
Yeah, you gotta tell me.
There was a time, for example, when you couldn't play a drum in our local churches. That was sacrilegious. You'd be thrown out. Now everybody has drums. What is it? Education and understanding of our history and who we are. The drum came from us as a people. So a lot of things that were frowned upon was some things that were imposed on us by someone else. Not everybody shares my vision. Never everybody understands that the world is God's world. And there are no limits as to where we can go. There are some people who shy away. I've gotten criticism, for example, Gospel Fest. Why would you have Gospel Fest in the same village that they have all this thing going on? I asked them, what is your problem? Where would Jesus go? What would he do? Why do you need light? Isn't it because it's dark? Why do you need a light where it's bright? You don't. So if you have an issue with that, then you have an issue with Jesus. You would find him in the marketplace. You will find him out there. So the question is, has the church lost its vision and its mission? And we have a lot of people that are confused. But I am certainly not. I am sure about my mandate. I am sure about what God has called the church to do.
For viewers to view that full interview, visit all 284 media platforms. But that's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com and like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Kamal Haynes, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a safe and enjoyable evening. Bye-bye.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of it then. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, Sonny.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Over there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you?
Listen.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
What you really? Hey, this ain't like you, know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home. Keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I even watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.